colleague and paisan Michael Cimino.
In the late 1970s, New Hollywood was on top of the world, with many filmmakers riding a wave of commercial and critical success. But just a few short years later, the movement was widely agreed to be over. So what caused the fall of New Hollywood? In pop culture terms, there's one film often singled out as being instrumental in this sudden shift: Michael Cimino's Heaven's Gate. Loosely based on the real Johnson County War, the film follows Marshal James Averill as he investigates rising tensions between immigrant settlers and cattle barons, including his old friend Billy Irvine. Before long, the situation erupts into violent conflict. Unfolding on an epic scale, the titanic vision of Heaven's Gate is only matched by its ballooning budget. Already expensive due to Cimino's exacting demands for thousands of extras and extensive period set builds, the film's production was dominated by excessive creative control, such as Cimino holding out for perfect natural lighting conditions, often leaving hundreds of cast and crew members waiting around for hours at a time. During post-production, executives were reportedly locked out of the edit suite, where Cimino assembled an original cut over 5 hours long before presenting a 219-minute theatrical cut. With the success of The Deer Hunter and backed by the New Hollywood philosophy of creative auteurship, Cimino looked untouchable. Unlike the former film, however, Heaven's Gate was a critical and financial disaster.
Heaven's Gate is a numbing shambles. It's the work of a poser who got caught out.
While Heaven's Gate was lambasted upon release, making back less than 10% of its budget, it has since been critically reappraised. Ironically, the director's cut feels better paced than the truncated studio version, with the epic story granted room to stretch and character beats building over time. It's still a deeply flawed film with a mishmash of bright ideas, but it's the superior vision. Had it been made today, it would almost certainly have been a prestige miniseries rather than a film. Cimino was far from the only New Hollywood director to experience this level of hubris. Well-publicized production troubles and director disputes, for instance with Sam Peckinpah during the production of Convoy, built a reputation of instability for these fiery filmmakers. Increasingly viewed as bad bets, financing their risky projects became more difficult. Elsewhere in Hollywood, Francis Ford Coppola had a solution to this problem. Fresh from the success of Apocalypse Now, he traded in his considerable cachet and finances to back a new vision for filmmaking. Coppola advocated for returning to the studio method, where production companies owned physical studio space and had actors on contract. These old-school ideas were mixed with cutting-edge techniques like electronic cinema, an early form of pre-visualization using video storyboards to speed along pre-production. His new venture, Zootrope Studios, became almost entirely devoted to One from the Heart, a Coppola passion project. The film follows lovers Hank and Franny, who break up after an argument and escape into the bright lights of Las Vegas. This marital drama has a twist. It's a musical, albeit one performed almost entirely by off-screen musicians, notably Tom Waits. Coppola's vision for a highly artificial production design and cinematography is fascinating, playing with theatrical techniques. To achieve this, Coppola spared no expense in building a scale version of the iconic Las Vegas Strip on a soundstage, creating a gorgeous, distorted neon landscape. These visuals are contrasted against a naturalistic acting style from the cast, with Waits' characteristic crooning layered over the top.
Broken bicycles, old busted chains, rusted handlebars out in the rain.
While an interesting idea on paper, in execution the film feels misconceived. Waits' songs drone over the film, dragging the pace, and the gloss can't mask its fundamentally unlikable protagonists. A musical without big numbers and with a central romance audiences actively rooted against, One from the Heart was a massive flop at the box office. Distributors pulled out at the last minute, and the film grossed just $389,000 against a budget of $26 million, causing Zootrope Studios to fold almost overnight. But the downfall of New Hollywood isn't all about box office blunders. As the movement was reaching its heyday, another group of young filmmakers was preparing to revolutionize the industry. In 1977, George Lucas, previously known for experimental films and a low-stakes drama, premiered his latest creation, Star Wars. This box office phenomenon had been prefigured by his friend Steven Spielberg's film Jaws 2 years earlier, and their acquaintance Brian De Palma integrated the art house leanings of New Hollywood with more commercial filmmaking, creating successful genre films like Carrie. In the early 80s, just as New Hollywood was faltering with poor financial outcomes and director spats, these filmmakers were offering an alternative option for the future of Hollywood: blockbusters, a brand new type of tentpole picture that audiences went crazy for. Viewed through this lens, New Hollywood's demise was more a failure to reach its original promise, which Lucas, Spielberg and co. delivered: commercially successful, mass-appeal films with a distinctive flavour that could revitalize the box office. Despite their blunders, many New Hollywood filmmakers went on to have prolific and profitable careers. Scorsese and Coppola in particular have both continued to deliver audience and critic favourites. Others weren't so lucky. Sam Peckinpah struggled to find work, and Michael Cimino ceased making films altogether in the 1990s, becoming a virtual recluse. Despite its spectacular downfall, there's no doubt that this explosive film movement left its mark on Hollywood.